Ooh, look at Sarah. I should do that too. Let me turn on my video. All right, so hopefully you can see us now. Hello, hello. I'm Kara, that's Sarah. She's on video as well. So she's gonna kind of take over like in the second half of this and go over some things. She's our support manager, customer experience manager, and I am a free conference account manager. So we're going to talk a little bit, we're going to give you some tips and features that we hope will be helpful to you, but we want to kind of match this up to the ebook we just sent out that maybe some of you downloaded. If you haven't, we'd be happy to share the link with you as part of the post-webinar content that we'll send out. It's a great starter book on how to bring your business online these days, because it's something that, whether you are a consultant, whether you are a religious leader or a gym trainer, anything, you can bring your business online. And it's not easy, but it's also not that hard. And we're going to try to relate some of the tools that we have in free conference to a couple of the sections in that ebook. Although I highly recommend that you read through the ebook. It gives you great ideas on just promoting your business, how to search, how to make yourself searchable, to get some popularity in the internet rankings and that kind of thing. Stuff I don't know anything about, but that ebook is great for you to review. So anyway, we'll send that out. So one thing that being online lets you do instead of maybe your retail front is to be open 24/7 and to be available all over the world. So you get an extended reach that you might not have thought about before. If you want to work in the middle of the night, you can. If you want to reach a different country, if you want to promote your workout routine in France, you can do that too, right? Because you've got international reach. And some of the ways that we help you do that is with our, well, basically this, your browser can take you anywhere. So whether that's Chrome or now Safari, Firefox, if somebody has a browser, they can join your meeting, and we'll show you a little bit more about that. But we also have dial-in numbers all over the world, so people can join on the phone if they don't have a browser, they don't have access to that, a computer, and then from any device. So if they're on an iPhone or I have a Pixel or whatever phone they have, they can join your business very easily with our apps as well. So that's one of the big benefits to being online. So you also want to think about what your audience looks like. What are you doing, right? Are you training one-on-one? Is this a music lesson? Again, is it a workout video? Or is it one-to-many? So are you presenting to a very large number of people? So once you get an idea of what you're going to be doing, you can kind of take a look at the tools we offer and see how those best fit your needs. So, there's your daughter. Hi, Sarah. That's so cute. Hey, we all have that thing going on these days. You guys might hear my dogs soon. So, no, it's if anything, I like this environment because it's become much more forgiving for any little inconsistencies that might happen in our webinars, which I appreciate. So a couple of things you really have to have, though, and we do this all the time, so we speak from experience, is you've got to have the right setup, okay? So you don't have to have like some kind of crazy internet equipment installed, like a repeater installed in your home, but you do have to have a solid internet connection. Low bandwidth is something that everybody can tell you they experience. If you've got gamers in the home, you'll need quite a bit of download speed to get those things going. And if you've got multiple people pulling on multiple devices from that bandwidth, it's going to lower it. So if you're really serious about hosting some type of webinar and class online, then you're going to want to make sure you have most of that bandwidth for yourself. So for example, I just kick my family offline. I'm like, stop it, just give me a half an hour. It's all mine, not yours, because I want everyone to have a good experience. And you do need to have a certain amount of download speed and upload speed. So you want to check that, all right? So talk to your internet provider. They can probably tell you. We'll show you our connection test in a few minutes here. That will actually allow you to run through your internet speed. If you don't want to go to a separate speed test site, we have it right in our connection test. So make sure that you've got a decent connection. Make sure you have an updated laptop or PC or tablet even for what you're doing. You don't have to run out and buy a new one. Mine is, I think, like a 2016, but don't use one from 99. It's not going to have the right, it's not going to be able to accommodate anything you're doing. So please make sure that you've got something that can run at least the, the latest versions of the browsers. It has to be updated enough. We're compatible with, like I said, a bunch of different browsers and versions, but we're not going to go back to, if Windows doesn't support it anymore, we're not going to support it anymore. So make sure you have an updated device to use. And then your equipment as well. So I have a wired headset. This is a $30 headset from Amazon. It's not anything expensive, but I found that it works best for me. It even works better than a Plantronics $300 Bluetooth set. So you don't have to spend a lot of money, but do invest in a wired headset that will help you it will help your voice sound clear and strong and prevent anyone from not being able to hear you, which is really, really frustrating when you're trying to lead something online. And then your camera. Please make sure you have a camera. I know that sounds silly, but not every single laptop has one, especially if it's a little bit older, it may not. So make sure that you have a camera. If you don't, you can buy one, just a USB, just plug it in. Again, it doesn't have to be expensive. It can be, I think like a $99 Logitech will do the job very well. So make sure you have all your equipment, make sure it's working. And that's a key too, make sure it's working. So I'm going to share my screen now. So I will go off video in a minute here. And you're going to see my laptop, my free conference screen right now, nothing fancy or exciting, but I do want to show you the settings section here. So this is one place that you can check to make sure that all of your equipment is functioning correctly and that you have the right one selected. So might hear my dog in a minute here. The camera. So I'll give you an example. I've got two cameras. I've got an internal one and I have an external one. And if my external one wasn't plugged in, I want to make darn sure that I'm choosing my internal one so that it works. That's going to be the same thing with your microphones. A lot of people will have multiple microphones. So you want to make sure that if it doesn't automatically select the one that you're using, that you select that yourself. And you can do a couple of tests in there. So that's the settings section. And at the bottom of the settings section, you'll see where we have the test connection. You can click on that. And what that will do, I don't want to take myself out of the webinar, but that's a lovely test site that will run you through all of these tests one after the other. So we're playing a sound. Can you hear it? Speak into your microphone. Did you hear yourself talk? So those kind of things. That's also where you'll find that speed connection. So this is a really handy section to look at. The test connection is also available to you in other places as a URL. We'll show you that in addition to being in the settings section there. So we'll get out of this. So once you've made sure that you've got all of your settings and you're ready to go, we highly suggest that you do a trial run. Okay, so get a friend, get a spouse, get a kid. Believe me, the kids can probably give you a few lessons. They certainly do for me. And have them join your call. It's free, right? You can have up to 5 people online in your free conference account at no cost at all. So this is nothing you're putting out of your pocket. You can have them join and make sure that they can see your video. Make sure that they can watch your screen sharing. Make sure they can hear you. There's nothing like trying it out in a live environment to have all of those issues, problems, if you're going to have them come out then. So let me jump into the dashboard, which is what we call what's behind the user account login. So hopefully you've seen this. If you just signed up with us and you jumped into the webinar before even trying it out, great, you're learning, but this is what it looks like when you log in. Okay, so you've got kind of this main interface where you can start a meeting online, where you can schedule a meeting, where you can see all of your dial-in information here. So this is kind of the meat and potatoes of the dashboard because it's where you're going to manage everything. But you also have a settings section And this has a lot of great features and things that you can do to prepare your meetings beforehand, which I love to do because that's less I have to remember on the actual call. So let me just highlight a few things, okay? So for example, the waiting room. This enables your meetings to have hold music if you want playing until you join the call. So basically everybody who's not you will be on a music hold until you log in and start the call. I was here first, so you guys didn't get to hear my lovely hold music playlist, but that would have happened if I would have waited to come into the call. This is a very, very important one, chime and names and outs. So you're going to have your own feelings about this, and depending upon your need, you may want to enable or disable this. So, we were talking about this one-to-one type of online business or online communication. You may want to turn on the name and out so you hear when that person has joined. Now, if you're doing some small teams and you're just maybe 2 or 3 people, whatever it is you're doing amongst a small group, maybe the name announce is still too intrusive and you don't want to hear that on the call. So maybe you turn on the entry and exit chime so you'll hear a ding when people come into the call. That's usually how I have it. But for a bigger webinar, it's nice for everything to be off. The less you have playing over your presentation, the better. So that's why these are off. Okay, so you can save these and you can change this at any time you want to. One thing is, and this is kind of funny, is a security code, because I clearly had been doing some trainings on this and I turned my security code on, just showing people how you use it. And I left it on. So if you tried to join and were asked for a security code, that was my fault. Sarah's like, Kara, you got to turn that off now. So fun fact, you can use the security code. You can enable anywhere from 1 to 9 additional digits that will be required of your participants in order to join the call. So if you've got anything that you want to just make sure that you've got like this extra layer of security for, that's when you would enable that. And again, you could just type it in and save it. That was the security code, by the way. So, and make sure that you know it's on there. So case in point, if you don't want it on for some meetings after your call is done, go ahead and turn it off, and then we won't ask you for it anymore. Recording and live streaming. Now, I really need to go back here, and I need to talk about some of the features we've been showing you. May or may not be in the plan that you have. So we've got the free service, which, again, you should test with, but sometimes you do need to upgrade, and in some of these cases would be recording the call and live streaming the call. And that would be if you need to reach a very large audience. So I'm going to go ahead and turn this over to Sarah. She may want to share her screen, or Sarah, do you prefer if I just keep on this? I don't know if you've got this up on your screen or not.
No, I can share my screen.
Okay, great. So, all right, perfect.
Yeah.
So she is the live streaming expert. She's the one who set all this up, and she is in fact live streaming the call. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing my screen and let her take over for now.
Great. Yeah, first of all, to let you all know, what gets live streamed is just the main speaker. So it would have been Kara just before, or myself now, and anything that the main person speaking is sharing, that's what gets live streamed over to YouTube. So let me share my screen and I'll explain how you get yourself set up. So first of all, you want to go to your YouTube account. And here at the top right, there's a little picture of a camera. And when you hover over, it says create. If you tap on that and then choose go live. If you've never done YouTube live streaming before, okay, sorry, this was a new account. Let me go to a different one. Sorry. I will go indeed to another one. Apologies for that. So let me look at. Sign out. yeah, so what you want to do is you hit the go live section, and I'm just going to stop sharing my screen and log in there and show my video. Sorry about that. I thought it was prepared and I wasn't. So what you're going to find there is you're going to need a streaming key and another link, and that's going to need to be popped into your free conference account. Now, just as Cara was saying, YouTube live streaming is available with the Pro subscription. So that's with the plan, which is $34.99 a month. So let me just make sure this is going to work now. Great, here we are. I'm going to share my screen again. No, it doesn't. Okay, so I'm going to go to here. Okay, so once you've gone here, you'll see we've got a few different ones, and there's one that's live. I can see anything that I've scheduled, but otherwise it'll pop up and it'll ask you if it's a brand new account, it'll ask you to enter some details about your live stream. So here, for example, let's go and edit this one. So you'll see that you've got some streaming settings. You can give it a name. You can add a thumbnail, and here's the important pieces of information that you need here. There's this streaming key which is generated. You need to copy that, and this stream URL here that you need to copy. Those are two pieces of information that you'll need to go and take and put in your free conference account. One little thing I will mention, there's another setting here called Enable Auto Start. What that does is particularly if you're the only one managing the account and setting everything up, this one is one you want to turn on. So that's going to make, at the moment you start streaming inside your free conference account, it's going to start streaming straight away into your YouTube channel. So that means, but if you would like to have a bit of a delay, make sure you're set up on your free conference account, or you have someone else managing YouTube. You can disable that and then just manually kick in the live streaming once you're ready. So that's an important setting. So once you've got your streaming key and your streaming URL, you hop over to your free conference account. And when you have the right subscription, you'll see recording and live streaming. If you're going to be automatically live streaming all of your meetings, then you would go here and you'd select automatically record, make sure it says online meeting, and then choose automatically live stream. Then you got to turn on the YouTube option, paste in your streaming key and the share URL here, and then hit save. Once you've done that, then you're all set up. The moment you start a new conference call, that will be automatically recorded and automatically live streamed, the way that I explained that you set it up. If you don't want everything automatically live streamed, just make sure you don't automatically record anything, but set YouTube to on. Then when you're in the online meeting, let me go to, this is a article I had open. I'll show you where you can find this. So that's the page, by the way. This is what you'll see if you have a brand new account. That's what I was trying to find. Okay, so over here, if you've not set it to auto record, you're going to have this option when you're in your meeting, when you're the moderator, hit record and then choose live stream and record from the options. And then it will to manually start it. And then you have the option on the side of your YouTube channel, if you would like that to automatically stream or if you manually start it. So those steps are important. If you have to choose whether it's automatic or not, and make sure you take the steps necessary for each of those. We have a pretty good support article now up on the site. I'll share that in the chat. And then I'll hand back over to Cara.
Thank you. Sorry, I had muted myself and I needed to unmute. So actually that's like the perfect lead in to my next kind of just a short segment on ways that you can make the experience really good for yourself and for your participants. So, I mean, nobody wants to have to be an IT tech when it comes to these things. Let's face it, if we can get on and start these calls and present our stuff, like that's our job. That's all we should be required to do, is to hold the meeting. But unfortunately, that's not how things are. If people are joining your call and they are running into issues, they're going to ask you how to fix them. So, what we'd like to do is to point you to our support site, not because we don't want to talk to you, but because we put, and specifically Sarah, to be honest with you, puts a lot of effort into making sure that you are able to find help when you need help. Let me share my screen here. We have great articles. We think of every possible scenario and write up an article, and then when we have somebody, oops, that was almost a problem. When we have somebody ask us a question and we don't have an article on it, Sarah's like, I'll write that. So, you know, for example, if you are having sound quality problems, echo is our #1 quality issue, and that's going to happen. I will tell you about echo. It is always introduced from something into the conference call. Conference bridges do not natively introduce echo into the call. So that's going to come from some type of setup on the hardware side. Somebody has their speaker on their computer, but also on their microphone, or there's a speaker on their webcam, but they're using their laptop speaker, something like that. So if you are like, oh my goodness, what can I do? Check it out. You just type in echo and we have a great article on this. Okay, so we have troubleshooting steps for you. We've got common causes. So we have a lot of information there, and it's really worth it to read through that and just become familiar with some of these issues. So you can, if somebody says, oh, I'm getting echo. Okay. Are your speakers and microphones too close? Go ahead and, you know, turn one off and turn the other one on. Things that you can control and give them tips. But if everything fails and you're still hearing things, because dogs are not hardware related and we cannot control when Amazon shows up. Trust me, that's happened. Muting is going to be your best friend ever, and I will show you how you can do that. So while you're in a call, and I have volume muted right now, you can as the moderator, right? Only the moderators can do this, can mute everybody at once. So it's in your chat box, and you just pop the chat box out and click on mute all. Okay, so I've clicked on this, and it will ask me when I mute everybody, do I want to allow participants to mute and unmute themselves or not? So you can check that, uncheck that, it's up to you. If you want people to be able to unmute their own line, leave it, you know, just go ahead and leave that as an option, and then instruct them that they can either click their microphone icon on and off to unmute, or if they're on the phone, *6 will do the trick. And that's up to you. Again, I've chosen to have this in presentation mode just because, like we've told you, we're doing the recording and we just don't want to introduce any type of interference into that. We want it to be nice and clear for people. But you could unmute everybody if you wanted to. That's up to you. But I can tell you that's the fastest way to make sure that your call, if there's anything going on, whether it's, you know, you're hearing an echo or static or just background noise, somebody's dishwasher, go ahead and mute all the lines and then ask them to unmute. That's the best way to cover that. If you want to, in your settings, let's go back to our dashboard real quickly. You can actually set that up on the back end. So if I want to make sure that my call starts in presentation mode, I can go into my settings, I can find what's called moderator controls, and then I can click on presentation mode. So immediately upon dialing in, callers will hear your line has been muted, and I don't even have to worry about doing it during the call. Just remember your settings, If you change it to presentation mode and then you have another call and it's just a small group of people and they're all muted, that's why. So you want to change it back to conversation mode if you can. So, but we have all kinds of articles there. So back to the original statement is that we've got all kinds of articles for you, troubleshooting, whether that is, maybe your camera's not working, firewall, anything we can think of, we've got there for you. So please do use this site. And we have chat too, by the way, so you don't have to wait on hold if you're calling in and it's super busy. We have a chat site, a chat bot that will take you right to a live support rep who can help you. So we have a lot of ways for you to get help if you need it. I think that we're almost at the coming up at the half an hour. So we've really appreciated the opportunity to talk to you a little bit about this, whether you're bringing a business online, whether it's just for you personally. Hopefully these little sessions have been helpful to you. Again, we'll send the recording out, so if you missed something or you want to go back, you'll be able to do that. And we'll scan the chat, and if there's any questions that we missed in there, we will answer those as follow-up as well. So thank you all so much for joining, and have a great rest of your day. Stay safe and be well. Bye-bye.